So for those of you who are unfamiliar with who Wim Hof is, he's a man, he's a dude. Okay? His name is Wim Hof. He's from somewhere in Norway, Sweden, Finland, Austria, somewhere where the Alps are at. In any case, he has become well known, world renowned for being able to hold his breath for long durations of time, but most notably for being able to control and regulate his internal, what most of us call our autonomic nervous system. So his heart rate, his blood flow, his internal temperature, so his thermogenesis, he can control that. Now he says that this was a product of his breathing techniques that he'd been doing for years. And so with a claim like this, like, hey, I can control my heart rate, how I want to control it, or I can control many other of the systems that lie underneath our conscious observation. Well, scientists are going to come out of the woodwork once people start paying attention to those claims, of course. Scientists will come out of the woodwork and they want to test them. So in this picture that you're looking at up here, Wim Hof is being subjected to some deep laboratory scrutiny as far as his physiological response to being submerged in pure ice. So he's submerged in ice basically up to his heart, and he's breathing on some apparatus so they could check the chemistry of his breath. And as he goes into his breathing patterns, they begin to notice some regulation of his chemistry as a result of the breathing that he's doing. He's internally heating up his system. He's slowing his heart rate down as he's meditating on such things while doing some of his breathing techniques. And so that's just to put some credentials to what it is I'm going to be asking of each of you over the course of these 10 weeks in terms of engaging in breathing practice and techniques using the Wim Hof method. And now to go back to Wim for a moment, after the first university lab studied him, and they found his claims to be accurate. They said emphatically, like, he is in fact regulating his autonomic nervous system as far as we could tell. Other scientists like, no, not a chance, didn't happen. So they would subject him to further scrutiny, all of which he would pass the test, so to speak. And there's even a TED talk on Wim Hof. It's pretty great, in which he does the submersion into ice live on stage. It's pretty remarkable. Maybe I'll leave a link to that here below. But in any case, Wim Hof is a fascinating guy. He's got this technique, and I've been practicing this technique for years. To put it in some perspective, I shared with the class today, I've accumulated, I think, 36 hours now of breath hold time. So that's being in retention, like holding my breath for, I think it's maybe over 36 hours at this point, but it's a long time. And so it's been useful for me. In fact, I also stated this today. It was asked to me on numerous occasions, like, hey, what's the one thing, if you had to go to prison and they only let you do one thing for your health, fitness, and well-being, what would it be? Breathing would be likely the most useful single tool for mind-body wellness. And so I won't go all into the chemistry or even the physical or the spiritual reasoning behind that. Just for me, sensational benefit, long-term sustainable use, which is why I'm sharing it with you during the Accelerator-10. And so we went over, I would say, a short, brief breath work practice today. It seemed to have gone pretty well for everybody. And I'd like to do this again in a public forum whenever we have the opportunity. So whenever we meet again, I'll guide people through the breath practice. It's pretty intense, which you will come to learn, but incredibly useful for not just changing our chemical constitution, but really defining that continuity between your mind and the space of experience, and then the body, which is the tool for constructing your experience. And so we like to have good command and control over that space. And this breathing practice has been one of the most useful tools I have found for doing so. So we'll be a great benefit from it. It's one of those tools where you kind of just dawns on you one day, and you just feel something that is unique and something that may only be able to be experienced through this portal. So I hope you get as much benefit, if not a partial amount of the benefit that I've been able to glean from this tool. So there's our Wim Hof breathing, and we're going to be doing this at least once a day. Each day consists of 3 rounds. Each round consists of 1 breath retention. So you have roughly 30 breath cycles followed by 1 good breath retention. And I'll post some videos as well on some of the mechanical breathing that goes into it, some of the movement of the breath, and how to get the most out of that as well. So there's the Wim Hof breathing, and let's move on now. We'll talk a little bit about our higher accountability and our coaching huddles.